Well, down on the boundary line is Mark Beretta, who's made the trip down from Sydney and enjoying the sunshine here at Canberra. Good afternoon, Mark.
Yes, good afternoon, Hutto. Good afternoon, gentlemen. It is a fantastic day down here at Manuka Oval. The sun is streaming in. It's a typical crisp Canberra day. Perfect football weather. The ground is looking great, and we're looking forward to a great clash. There's about 9,000 tickets have been sold to this match. They're expecting around 14,000 here today. Look, the atmosphere amongst both teams is pretty electric. They've got 2 wins each so far this season. The Kangaroos feel that if they can't win today, they haven't capitalised on last week's win. And of course, for the Saints, all the excitement and the hype is around Nathan Burke's 300th game. So it's looking like being a beauty. Of course, Hutto, Nathan Burke today is only 103 games off Kevin Bartlett's record.
Yes, Kevin gets a little bit itchy as each player reaches 300, because another one that gets closer to his magnificent record up there at 403 KB.
Look, it's a wonderful effort by Nathan Burke. In fact, it makes you feel a bit old, because Nathan Burke for the Tigers as a kid, he used to wear my number 29 on his back, did he?
Well, there he is. Let's hope, as we said, that he can have as good a game as Stuart Lowe did a couple of weeks ago. We're ready to go at Manuka Oval. The Kangaroos and St.Kilda. David King and Harvey starting in the middle alongside Burton and Stevens for the Kangaroos. And we've got a free kick before the match has even started, and it's going to Aaron Hamill. Gets Mick Martin. He's playing his 100th game. And a former Canberra boy, so he's being welcomed back home. Came from Ainsley, and with James Hurd. So Aaron Hamill. What a confidence boost this could be if he could send it through from 55. Doesn't look like it's quite got the carry on it. And Burton slapped it. He actually kept it in play, so it's still alive for Robert Harvey. Wheels back a long way off the left, and they'll start again with Andrew Thompson. Similar position in terms of distance to Aaron Hamill. Had a tougher kick from an accuracy point of view. Very crowded forward line. Kangaroos have got back to flood. Stuart Lowe might be the target. Everett is down there as well. Burton's hands. Colbert missed it. No, he did well in the end, Colbert. Motlop back in defence again today. Burton Milne is a goal sneak and gets it onto the boot very well. Touch and go with Clayton. And the umpire went with the touch rather than the go. And so the first score is a behind, and it goes to the Saints.
Such a dangerous player. King to bring the ball back into play. Stephen Milne has been a real live wire for the St Kilda side. So take a fantastic mark against the Hawks and hit the ground running, kicked a great goal. King goes wide. He's looking for McCartney. It was good body work, and slaps the ball on. Blakey, one of the veterans, might have got a shove, will take the free kick. He's across half back. The run will come from mighty Mick Martin, edge of the centre square to centre half forward. This is where McKernan is lined up with young Koschitzky as his opponent. Severio Rocker, coming off that match-winning goal last week. Be great for the confidence. Harvey on the burst to centre half forward. It's a poor kick. It's been taken by Koschitzky. Young man from Brocklesby. Stands and delivers. Goes wide. Archer's going to close quickly. Always makes a contest. Cochran thought he may have been held off the ball. Archer, some fancy footwork, and then belts the ball back inside 50. Chance for Grant, and he's got it.
Well, Tony, he's one of the sort of players that needs to kick goals today in the absence of Carey, obviously.
Yeah, he certainly is. I mean, they'd certainly be looking for him to chip in and, you know, contribute 2 or 3 goals. He's great around the front of goals, Shannon Grant, and, you know, a very reliable left-foot kick, but just floating across the front of the pack there. And
it's about a 50-50 chance, Tony. 7-7 this year. From just inside 50, he has missed.
Well, they certainly are going to have to make the most of their chances, KB, today. Players like Grant and McKernan and all these type of players are really going to have to, when they get the chance, they're really going to have to put them home.
Well, Koschitzky again getting involved from the kick out. Hayes, Burke, good movement from the Saints. And his 300th, Nathan Burke spots up. A beautiful kick down for Robert Harvey. And he's got Brett Voss floating across centre half forward. Can he get to it? Yes, he can. And Shannon Motlop certainly made him earn it. I wonder if it'll be 50 metres or not. Still we wonder. The umpire's getting right in amongst it.
This is a very courageous mark.
Umpire having strong words to say. Mick Martin and Spider Everett certainly getting involved. Nathan Burke having words to the umpire.
Kept his eyes right on the ball.
they've got a very big injury list, the Saints, and they can ill afford to lose any more.
And that really is about as courageous as it gets, isn't it? It was just a fantastic effort of keeping your eyes on the ball. He's looks like he's going to pay quite a heavy price for it, but
there'll be no 50 metres because there was no wasting time. The contact was high. You either pay the mark or the free kick, but of course 50 metres is only paid for wasting time. And because that took place in the contest, there was no wasting time there. He will just take the kick from the same position. I think young Stephen Milne's going to take it.
So Stephen Milne to take the shot at goal. He's been pretty good for the Saints this year since being promoted off the rookie list. He's kicked 7 goals, 6. Brett Voss, not a great sight coming off the ground. So Milne to try and at least get some value from the courageous effort of Voss. We just steered it rather than kicking through it, KB or Tony, and he's through from behind.
Yeah, just got the floats up a little bit, that kick, Hutto. Just wasn't really the perfect kick, but that's what St Kilda really needed, that one there. That hurts more on the scoreboard than anywhere else. And
Tony, you may not have caught up with the news this morning. Kevin Sheedy in Melbourne is talking about the footballs. He wants them checked. It's not quite certain whether they're the right length or the right width. Not quite certain whether they've got the right amount of air in the bladder, because he just feels there's been so many poor kicks this year. He wants them checked out.
Yeah, well, we see another poor kick there again, KB, so maybe he has got something. I'm not quite sure of that, but yeah, that's quite interesting, isn't it?
Might have something to do with seagulls and Martians. As Everett pumps the ball back towards centre half forward. It's a loose ball. A crumble was needed. Stevens and King, the two old heads combined. King across half back. Such an important player for the Kangaroos. Just weighed up his options, goes wide. That's a great kick.
The great thing about King, he not only gets it 50 metres outside defence, but he has a run and a bounce quite often and clears the ball 70 and 80 metres every time he gets hold of it.
Shane Clayton with the footy as the Kangaroos move it forward. Marking attempt, but no mark down there, Rawlings. And again, the Saints holding up pretty well across half-back. Gehrig around the corner. Colbert wanted to move it quickly, but the Saints a chance. It's pretty scrappy out on that outer wing. This is Beetham finding a path through for Hayes. So maybe he can set something up. Again, the Kangaroos making it a contest, and the umpire forced to call for a bounce. So 1 behind the Kangaroos, 2 behind the Saints. Not much doing so far in this match in terms of the scoreboard. McCartney just trying to hack it forward. King, and again it's out of bounds.
Quite different forward lines, KB. Kangaroos are going with Corey McKernan, a tall up forward, while St Kilda going with Stephen Milne, a short at full forward. So obviously both clubs with different ideas there.
Well, of course, Barry Hall out of the side along with Max Hudson, so it does leave them a little shorter than perhaps they'd like. Harvey cleared a path. Hamill with Martin's going to be an interesting battle all afternoon. Stevens just overran it a bit. Heavy work by McCartney, and injudicious was the ruling. Quickly taken by Davis. Stuart Lowe marked there, so he could have even run in and put it through, but it doesn't matter. He can go back and kick the first goal, you would think, of the afternoon.
Good play by Stephen Milne too, because he got in the way there of Shannon Motlop, so he couldn't actually get to the contest, so Stewie Lowe was able to take a mark unopposed.
We all know about Stuart Lowe's performance a couple of weeks ago in his 300th game. Best on ground. He's kicked 8 goals, 3 for the year. And they've started pretty well, the Saints here. You'd think they just had the upper hand so far in general play. And now on the scoreboard, they've got the advantage as well. And good for his confidence early, Tony.
Yeah, look, you know, he has played a couple of weeks ago. He was fantastic against the Swans, and I'm sure he's just as fired up today, you know, with Nathan Burke's 300. But look, just been a fantastic player over a long period of time, Hutto.
Stewie Lowe in game number 302 has booted 9 goals now for the season. So a good start for the Saints. 1-2-8, the Kangaroos 1 behind. Spider Burton. And a run in the reserves a couple of weeks ago. So did that man, Shannon Grant, as he pumps the ball back. Kernan just needs a couple of early touches just to lift the confidence. Last week he was good in the AFL, but he needs a couple of easy kicks.
Just watching him already, KB, it just looks like he needs to run onto a couple. You know, the ball then was just kicked up on top of his head a little bit. He had to pull up, he had to change gait for when the ball, but he just needs to, put the ball out in front of him and let him run into it.
Well, McKernan tried to pluck it out of the air. Colbert sets it up wide, finds Clayton to the goal square. This is a dangerous kick, and there's a good strong mark taken by Byron Pickett.
It's just all body strength, that. Just a great one-on-one duel. Byron Pickett just a little bit too strong in the end there.
He's been used as a forward in the last couple of weeks, hasn't he? Primarily as a half forward, and he's shown the ability to kick a couple of long goals last week.
So Byron Pickett, point blank range, kicks a goal.
So 1-2-8 the Saints, and the Kangaroos 1-1-7. He certainly brings a bit of extra toughness to a forward line, doesn't he?
Oh, he certainly does. He's a very straight ahead type of player, and there's been many opponents or many opposition side players a little bit worried in the same area as Byron Pickett.
Robert Power with the job on him today. So a good start here in Canberra. 1-2-8 St Kilda, 1-1-7 the Kangaroos. I think they've lost the first ball lost. No, they've actually managed to retrieve it. We're down in Tasmania, of course, KB, a couple of weeks ago. We counted 9 balls they lost for the day. The locals souveniring them. We'll keep a count this afternoon. Smaller balls or not, I'm sure the locals would like them. Spider Everett and Matthew Burton. Ready to do battle. Everett the clean tap, so it went back a fair way in the end. Gale, well done Colbert, but he rode that tackle beautifully and laid it off for Everett. And a very low kick, it was just too low. In the end, it didn't quite make it through to the target, who was Aaron Hamill. Now, Johnny Blakey can take it away, wheeled onto the left. Lenny Hayes, time to recover from the initial fumble. No, he swung it right back in for Hamill. It's a terrific kick, just the sun got in the eyes. They can't close the roof here though, Manuka. So we got the handball off to Davis, pumped it along, but McCartney in good position. Burke to try and spoil, which he did without infringing, I would have thought. I might get your opinion on that, KB, as Clayton takes the mark.
No, I thought it was a free kick.
Okay, well, there you go, I was wrong. You're on the rules committee, KB, so I won't argue with you. Martin takes it away, intercepted. Harvey kept it deep into the pocket. Motlop with time, with Blakey ahead of him, or a fumble. Both teams seem to be just having trouble coming to terms with the surface here, just a little bit. Just get used to the bounce and so forth. Joe McLaren, who was pretty good against Collingwood last week, lays it out for Shannon Grant. Knowles, who came onto the ground when Boss went off. Well, he broke the tackle and then he caught again, and it's all out of bounds.
Just on Corey McKernan, Tony, I would say he's got to learn to get a couple of easy kicks. Drop in short, take a few short kicks, run past, get a few handballs. You can't just rely on maybe taking a couple of big grabs and gaining your confidence. You've got to work hard to try and pick up some easy possessions.
Oh, I think so. You certainly got to get back to the basics, KB, and I think that'll do his confidence a world of good, just to get his hands on the ball and get a couple of kicks. And look, things can change around very quickly from there.
You would hope his teammates would try and bring him into the game. Chad Davis from the edge of the centre square, and he finds the 300 gamer in Nathan Burke. Outside of 50. Loose player set up wide, the long arms, it was Spider. King made him work hard for it. Davis, hands and knees. Can't lock the ball in. Still a chance for the Saints. Everett, good work at ground level. And in the end, bounces through for a behind.
Would you think Dennis would have given some thoughts of playing McKernan across half-back like he did last week, just to get behind the ball and to be able to run through and get a few easy kicks?
I think if Wayne Carey had been playing that,
he probably would have, yeah.
Just need a bit of height up forward, help out Severio Rocca, a bit of marking power. It's interesting with young Stephen Milne playing so close to the goal square. A couple of times I feel the Saints wanted to kick the ball long, but probably looked up and saw a small player there. McCartney's got 2 to beat. McKernan sort of left it for McCartney. Finally, Knowles pushes it back over the line for a boundary throw, and let's go down to Mark.
Well, Hutto, some good news for St Kilda. Their bench has been strengthened once again. Brett Voss is back on the bench. He has had a couple of stitches on a cut just below his lip there. So Brett Voss back on the bench for the Saints.
Thanks, Mark. Mark Beretta. Burke Knowles, Hayes got the handball out low, great smother. Anthony Stevens, well done Spider-Bert. Quick thinking into the space. Colbert will be a chance here against Kaczynski. Got support, and they should be able to get away the Saints. Little handball went across from Blake, and he gets it back again. A little short kick from Powell through half back. This is Beetham. Or Knowles just set up a little bit there, but he did well. Thompson with Pickett right down on him, went for Begley, but Cochrane was right there, and McCartney. It's the cricket pitch area, which players probably wouldn't be all that much used to these days. Blakey clearing the ball to the outer side. It's like the old days, isn't it, with a big patch in the middle of the ground?
It's when you get the ball running through the middle of the ground like that, KB, just a little bit of overuse there on St Kilda. They really, maybe 1 or 2 handballs, but then it should be kicked long into the forward line.
That's a good point. Just overuse the ball. You've got to get the ball quickly down the forward line, particularly when you've got marking strength with Stewie Lowe. Hamill, of course, always has presence on the forward line. Schwarz hit the ball hard, taken away by Colbert. Some early touches. Stevens pumps the ball along. Here's a chance. Clayton. Not the bounce he wanted. Chance for Clayton again. Good, strong defensive play. Harvey keeps it alive. They'll share it around. He can kick it off the ground. Gale, hands and knees, wants to push it through. And Harvey looks up. There's really a comedy of errors. There was a chance there for the Kangaroos and finally through from behind. Just didn't quite get the bounce they wanted.
Just a little bit unlucky not to get his slipper into that, wasn't he?
Powell to bring the ball back for the Saints. They lead by a point. 9 plays 8. Fraser Geary short to Burke. Between the back pocket and half-back flank. They just hugged the boundary line. Schwarz come on last week against the Hawks and showed a fair bit of talent. Just a handful of games, penetrating kick. McKernan from behind. At least he attacked the ball. Pounced on this time by Thompson. He wants the run out wide. He gets it. The run came from Begley, who centres the ball. High flyer was Big Sav. Loose ball.
Well done.
Motlop. To Blakey from half-back. Sets it up. Cochrane. It's been a shadow of recent weeks. He's been picking up some good players. Putting the screws on. Stevens. Acting captain today. Sets it up. Grant's got it. And he's 45 metres out. He's on his wrong side. But he's a goal kicker. McKernan's got to get back to add a bit of height.
Well, this is where they need to open up a little bit and give him a little bit of room, McKernan. But, I just think he might be a little bit too far out of his ground there, Shannon Grant.
It's not an impossible angle for Grant. He'll be shooting from right on 50. He's going to bend it back. It's coming across the face of goal. And through for a minor score.
Well, it's hard to work out who's in front so far, Plugger. It's 1-3-9 each, obviously, but pretty even battle.
Yeah, it is a little bit. I think St Kilda may have had just a little bit more of the ball, but yeah, it's good. I think it's going to be a close one right through the whole day, Hutto.
Beetham right up towards the boundary line. Yeah, I mean, I think coming in, this is one of the hardest games of the weekend to try and pick who was the favourites. I think the Saints were the nominal favourites, with Carey being out. But when you look through the St Kilda injury list, Hall, Hudson, Elliott, Callaghan, Delaney, Jones, Lawrence, Platt, Rewald and Cripps. It's a pretty long list, even with Harvey and Thompson returning to the lineup today. Burton got the tap. Archer, Hamill, Hayes, who's been prominent early, gets the ball moving again. Not a great kick coming into the 50. Milne found a path, got the handball out. Blake was well tackled. Milne again on top. Another bounce.
Young Milne looks very good, KB, doesn't he? He's a real little live wire down there in the forward line.
He's quick.
Create a lot of options. He pounces on the ball very quickly.
I thought then maybe he could have just utilised his pace a bit, backed himself.
Plenty of Kangaroos behind that contest. Blakey and King combining well. King just delaying the kick. Pretty good for Shannon Grant. Oh, he got a cruel bounce. Knowles couldn't make the most of it initially. We had teammates in support. Well done, Shannon Grant. That was terrific play. There was 2 Saints, Gale and Davis, and all Knowles had to do was knock it away from the contest, and that should be inspirational stuff for his teammates.
I thought he may have held Knowles momentarily too.
Hutto, picking the bounce today is going to be pretty difficult. The ground is fairly lumpy, and it's just going to make those bounces a little bit tricky.
Maybe tough for the umpires as well, judging by that bounce. Here's Hayes again involved. Milne went past it. Harvey became a goal kicker so far this year. Kicked 8 goals in his first 4. Around the corner for Davis. Motlop again to clean up the mess. Oh, well, he didn't really help too much, but he got Cochrane away. And now they should be able to get clear off half-back. Simpson's kick around the corner was pretty good. Harvey got McLaren in support, got Pickett ahead, but instead he goes back to Harvey, through half-forward. And Rocker was on the lead. Shannon Grant wasn't meant for him. Byron Pickett for his second goal. Stabbed at it, but stabbed at it straight. Second goal for the Roos.
Well, they used the ball well then, didn't they, coming down from half-back? And particularly this player here, Brent Harvey, he really does carry the ball. Breaks open the opposition with his running. Byron Pickett and Shannon Grant both getting a few touches in this first quarter, and second goal now to Byron Pickett. So very dangerous up forward.
And a little bit of luck goes a long way too, KB, there, doesn't it? With a just not quite finished off like he would have, young Brent Harvey. It went over the top of Sav Rocker's head, and Shannon Grant was there to swoop on it and handball it off to Byron Pickett, who goal truly.
Kangaroos by 6 points as King just bustled his way out of the centre square. Chance for Clayton, 45 metres out. It's a poor kick.
Just got a little hand on the bottom of his foot then, I reckon, which just put him off his kick.
Young Kosicki there on screen, picking up Corey McKernan. It's been pretty impressive, young Kosicki. Last week he went off early in the game against Hawthorn. He wasn't feeling well. He's playing his 5th game for the Saints. Looks like he's a fine prospect. Here's a chance. McKernan had it and lost it. The Saints, they worked their way out of trouble. Handball that came from Blake. So a transfer of play. Fraser Gehrig. He's ignored Chad Davis. He's gone long, looking for Blake. Beaten by Cochrane. He's an impressive young player, Cochrane. And there's McKernan. That'll be great for the confidence. Screaming for the ball is King. He's virtually in the goal square. He hasn't sighted him. He's gone short. And he finds Severio Rocker.
He did have King in the other pocket there, KB. I just don't know whether he could have got it that far over to him, but at the end of the day, it was probably a better option, and he's found Rocker. Only kicking from 35 on a little bit of an angle, but you know, this is full forward's bread and butter, this one, and he really needs to go back and have a good think about it and put it through.
One thing for sure, I don't think it would have been a lack of voice from David King. He seemed to be screaming out, didn't he?
Big Sav looks like he's been lifting a few weights there too, by the look of him, doesn't he?
13 goals for the season. Rocker from 48 metres.
Just pushed it off to the...
Just pushed it and through from behind.
Well, this small ball, they're having a lot of trouble with it, aren't they?
Well,
2-4 to 1-3.
Kevin Sheedy's theory.
Actually, Peter Dacos has been saying that all this year, that he thinks the balls are smaller these days than when he played.
Well, I noticed this morning in the press that the AFL said that Sheridan have been making the footballs. It's been the same design and the same pattern
For 25 years.
for about 125 years.
Clayton laying it off. David King, now he gets his chance to kick a goal. Yeah, that's why Corey McKernan did the pass to you, David. 2-5 to 1-3. So after the Saints had most of the early play, seems it's the Kangaroos missing their opportunities now. Powell with a footy at full-back. Well, dangerous one for Hayes. He just took it in time with Clayton bearing down. Up ahead, there's not much. Kosicki leading into some space at centre-half back, but that will be kicking across goal and will be a little bit dangerous. Has to go for, well, Begley and Burke as the two targets. It really wasn't a target. It was a poor decision in the end. Colbert for Archer. Also deep into the pocket. Clayton used his body well. Just didn't take the mark.
Did all the hard work, yeah. Did all the hard work. It was great body work. But look at him. He's disgusted the fact that he couldn't hang on to that easy mark in the end.
So the ball in the pocket, Rocker. Shannon Grant, this is Clayton again. Will pump it long. McKernan has to get back in the contest. He did that, brought it to the front. Stevens swooping, terrific smother. Rocker off the left. Pickett, fumble. Swartz, pretty well tackled. Stevens claims him. And nothing doing, said the umpire, another ball up.
And that's what being a defender's all about, Cabo. Being desperate and St Kilda whacking on 2 quick smothers there. And could have very well been an easy goal there if not for the desperation of the St Kilda defence.
Chance for the Kangaroos, just under 4 minutes left in this first quarter. Manuka Oval in Canberra, scene of Nathan Burke's 300th game. Chance now, McLaren against his old side, goes very short and finds Lee Colbert, who's been pretty handy in this first quarter. He's had it 5 times, he's taken 3 marks, and is well within kicking distance. He's shooting from right on 50. His accuracy this year, 2 straight goals. So it reads well. The distance is there, and so's the accuracy. He's a dead-eye dick.
Sudden the Kangaroos just seem to, with the last 5 or so minutes, just seem to have a little bit more of the play, and converting that one into a nice goal.
Well, the call all afternoon on the boundary line, Hutto, has been go daddy, and that's Ruby Burke watching on Dad, who is becoming the first man to play his 300th game at Manuka Oval.
Terrific stat, Mark. Thanks for that. 3-5-23 to 139. Well, I don't think Daddy will be too happy just at the minute with the way his team's going. Thompson gets them inside 50. Blakey, bit of a stumble from the old man. Gets to his feet quickly enough and bombs it long for Colbert. He's hard at it, Thompson, who needs to recapture some form. Swartz runs his measure. Again, tough for the forwards from St Kilda. It was all the Kangaroos back there with a long bomb in. The only man who was the target of any sort was Milne, and he was the smallest man amongst that group of 4 or 5 players. Martin using Harvey, takes it out of defensive 50. Motlop pushing up the ground a bit now. Here's a penetrating kick off the left, a loping long one. High, tough for Rocker. Colbert there, Rocker, look at him through the middle of the pack. Was the hero last week. Tried to claim the mark then, but not quite. And we're looking at another ball up.
Just with that, Hutto, St Kilda looked like they want to go long to the goal square, but Stephen Milne is not the long option. He should be probably pushing forward a little bit. Stewie Lowe or Hamill should be back in the goal square leading out, and the Milne should be coming in with a fly to the ball and getting to the front and square.
They've just changed that now, Tony. In fact, they've picked up on what you've been saying, and Stewie Lowe has gone back, and Milne now has moved up. Chance for Milne. Speak of the devil. Now, let's have a look at the pace. Should be able to run away from John Blakey. Sidesteps. He's looking for Stewie Lowe. Now, Nathan Burke's the target. Closing quickly is Cochrane. Should have taken the grab. Burke's going to set it up. Hamill should pick a goal. 45 metres out and bangs it through. Well, he's under a lot of pressure too, Tony, isn't he, Hamill? Because he came with a big reputation. A lot of people saying down at Carlton, he had the backup there of Lance Whitmore was down there as well, and Koutafidis, but might have to do a bit more with the Saints.
Look, he's a great player, KB. There's no doubt about that, and he's just taken a little bit of time to settle in, but he is a great player.
Well, Aaron Hamill kicks his first goal in his 100th game. Spider Burton, who is also playing his 100th game, has just been rested on the bench. Hello.
Thanks, Mark. Yes, the big Spider, Drew Petrie, who's shown quite a lot of promise in the last few weeks, particularly in his first game against, or was he actually his second game against Richmond? He was great. But the Saints out of the middle, Harvey and Beetham, just a little fumble from Beetham, could prove costly. Still they're alive. Knowles, high one, tough for Burke. Stevens going back with the flight. He'd back him in. He'd see to control it. Hayes, lovely give. Stuart Lowe trying to get the boot to ball. Just worried he might have done a hamstring there for a while. Free kick. Stevens. He's saying that I didn't actually have it underneath me, or it was being locked in, or something like that. We'll have another look and see if we can make some sense of it. Hayes with the handball. Low. did he drag it in?
I think he's a bit unlucky, Hutto.
What do you think, KB?
Looked like he attempted to knock it out. The problem you have is if you dive on the ball, the rule says you must knock it out in the one motion. And he did dive on the ball, but he didn't knock it out with the one motion. Now the umpire's pinged him, I think, for that.
Stuart Lowe, it was a mongrel of a kick, but it sailed through for a goal. And they're back on pretty much even terms here at Manuka. A couple of late goals from the Saints before quarter time making all the difference.
With that rule, if you actually go to ground in a contest, then the umpire will give you an opportunity then, if you're over the ball, to knock it out. But if you actually elect to dive on the ball, then you're supposed to knock it out as you dive onto the ball. If you don't do that, well, then they don't give you a great deal of opportunity. So the Saints have hit back 3-3-21. They trail by 2 points. The Kangaroos 3-5-23. And we're down under 30 seconds. King just weaved his way out of trouble. Beetham. So a chance here for the Saints. Right into time on. Going to ground was John Blakey. He'll take the free. Stevens trying to set it up from half back. Goes wide. And Everett read it well in front of young Petrie, who's just come onto the ground, in spite of Burton taking a breather. And the siren will sound to end. Very even first quarter here at Manuka Oval. At quarter time, the Kangaroos lead 3-5-23. The Saints 3-3-21.
So a pretty interesting opening quarter with the Saints hitting back late in the term. Pickett with 2 goals. And for the Saints, 2 goals to Stuart Lowe. After the break, we'll come back, and the Kangaroos have got a special announcement, so stay tuned for that. It's 3-5 to 3-3. Mark. Andrew Carter, the chairman of the Kangaroos, and they're getting ready for the second quarter. The Kangaroos leading by 2. Spider Everett still in the ruck, and Petrie for the Kangaroos. Rocker and McKernan still down playing out of the goal square. As this second quarter gets underway, it favoured Everett. Thompson, Everett again. Nothing much doing. Now McLaren just couldn't control it. Playing against his old team, Joe McLaren. Colbert. Byron Pickett within range, we know that. He doesn't have a shot, instead went for Shannon Grant, and it just didn't quite come off for him. Fraser Gehrig playing some good attacking footy. Watch out, Byron was honing in on him and forces the error. After a really good run and good play by Gehrig, he'd be disappointed letting himself down. Harvey, he can kick for the McKernan lead. Again, just too much on it. Gale switching play for Begley. Got Chad Davis in short, or even a couple of other players, Blake or Hayes through centre half back. Everett makes a lead for him. Further up the ground. Goes even longer than that to a contest at half back. Archer. No mark. Hayes with the run. Clever play. Hamill in front of Mick Martin. Crunch from Colbert, who's pretty good at laying the hip and shoulder. Hayes again found a way of getting it back to Davis. Good little linking handball. Thompson out wide. Still the pressure on. King, Thompson, Beetham. Wobbly one in front, McCartney. Playing in front of Stuart Lowe does the job. McCartney, well, it wasn't a great kick. Colbert late on the scene, just couldn't spoil Everett, who takes the mark. Spider's 3rd mark, and a good kick for Beetham, who's been pretty prominent for them. 6 possessions, and this could be a goal. Beetham to put the Saints in front. No, across the face. So they all seem to be having trouble kicking to the left side down there. 3-4 to 3-5, 1 point the difference.
Good play by Beetham. Seen there was no one going to take his mark and played on quickly. And it's unfortunate he just pushed it across the left-hand side of the goal there. And the effort deserved a little better, though. It was well done.
It was certainly a disappointing kick. He's a fine young player. Looks like he's got plenty of promise, but he's got to just nail those opportunities. St Kilda desperate to win some games, to lift themselves up the ladder. We know the Kangaroos are also 2-5, but just a wasted opportunity there by young Caden Beetham. Also, Brent Harvey's kick prior to Corey McKernan, who's 6'6" and had to jump in the air and the ball still went over his head. It's not quite good enough. These sides are just looking to go that extra step.
And that's a couple of times now young Harvey's missed important passes, KB.
Stewie Lowe just tried to slap it out. Cochrane being impressed with that young man as Grant wobbles the ball forward. McLaren with the flight of the ball against his old side. He'd love to kick a goal. 45 metres out. McLaren again has pushed it wide and through for a behind.
The great thing young McLaren did then was keep his feet. He was heavy pressured by a St Kilda opponent who went to the ground, but McLaren kept his feet and kept himself in the contest.
Fraser Gehrig still just working his own form back to what he would expect. Nice kick. Petrie in front. The long arms of Spider. Does well. Burke always works hard at the bottom of the pack. Just tumbles the ball forward. Davis, good body pressure. Worked his way in front of Blakey. That's not easy. Finally taken over the line for a toss back in. 3-6-24 the Kangaroos. The Saints 3-4-22.
So it's early in the second quarter at Manuka. A beautiful day, a little cool, but magnificent conditions. The ground is a fraction bumpy, but the players coming to terms with it now. Hayes laying it up for Harvey. Just couldn't get there for the mark. Beetham sharked it beautifully and sets up a goal opportunity for Stuart Lowe, who just barged his way through and made sure of it. So the Saints in front. They've kicked the last three, and it's 4-4 to 3-6.
Well, he's booted 3 goals already, Tony.
Yeah, look, he's certainly doing his job there, and just got a bit of an unfortunate bounce there, but still good enough to get hold of it. Shrugged his Kangaroos opponent off and just slammed it on his foot, and that's 3 goals to Stewie Lowe. He started in great form.
Stewie Lowe on screen has booted 3 goals, and the Saints have hit the front. 4-4-28. They lead by 4 points. 3-6-24.
And do you think a change could be near KB? Would Martin go back onto Lowe soon if he keeps his form up?
I think that's about their only option. For Mighty Mick to go back at full back. Harvey enough to get the ball away. McLaren again this time. Was beaten. Gale rockets the ball wide. Finds Walton. Pumps the ball back. Beetham playing in front of Motlop. Gives him the slip. It's a centering kick. Hamill always tries to hit the ball hard. Picked up by Thompson. It's a high ball. Lowe's going to be dangerous playing in front of that body bolt. Good strong play also from McCartney for a boundary throw-in.
Don't forget, for the latest on all the AFL action, once the siren sounds, you can get on to i7sport.com.au. At the moment, you'll see that the Saints are going pretty well. Kangaroos defence under a lot of pressure, and they just get the ball over the line. Andrew Thompson back in the Saints team today. One on the dreaded hamstring list.
Spider Burton to come back onto the ground too, Hutto.
Yeah, Petrie off the ground. Shannon Grant with a powerful left foot kick in.
Beautiful kick.
Yep, found Johnny Blakey. Now Burton's just along the boundary line further, but doesn't go to him. Instead, going by hand. Archer, Clayton. Pickett runs for him. Burton likewise goes for both of them, but somewhere in the middle there. Looks like it might be Brett Voss back on the ground too, is it? Which is good news. Byron Pickett accelerates it off the left for the good of McKernan. Should get this one, Corey. He does.
That was a terrific kick that time by Byron Pickett. Plenty of carry on the ball.
Well read by McKernan too. He led into the correct space there, give himself plenty of room, and he's going to be kicking from 40 metres now. And a confident Corey McKernan would kick this, and let's hope for his sake and for the Kangaroos that he can go back and create a 6-pointer out of her.
Kicked 3 goals too for the year, Corey McKernan. We know it's been a disappointing one so far. From 45, he's kicked beautifully, and the Kangaroos are back in front at Manuka.
Just his second kick today, but a very important one, Tony.
Well, look, it's amazing, KB, how things can change, and if he just keeps working hard, keeps his head down, you know, the confidence will come back. We know he is a great player, Corey McKernan, and I'm sure it won't be long before he's back into the full swing of things, but that'll certainly do his confidence a world of good.
Kangaroos by a point. 4-6-30, the Saints 4-5-29. There's Robert Harvey in that customary pose of Robert Harvey with his hands on his hips, looking exhausted until they bounce the ball, and then he just runs onto it, finds some more energy. This man's been very good today, Byron Pickett. He's booted a couple of goals, sets it up wide. Shannon Grant, dangerous player, was looking for Severio Rocker. Koschitzki, cool under pressure, goes wide, and Grant has taken a rip of a mark over Voss. It wasn't paid. Might have got a hand to it. Cochrane ripped off the ball, got good enough to get his kick away. That might have been a free kick for in the back. It was not paid. Rocker just shoveled the ball out to King. He's had it 9 times. Goes short. Finds Clayton, who's also been very, very busy. 9 possessions and 4 marks.
Good option from David King there. Was going to go to the pocket, looked around the other side, seen there was nothing there, and turned back around. Just a short kick into Shane Clayton, now kicking from a 45-degree angle.
He's booted 3 goals, 1 for the year. He's trying to bend it back. Not enough. And again through for a minor score.
So maybe it's the team that's going to get their kicking at goal together that's going to win this match. We saw last night with the Crows. They had 5-12 at half-time and then kicked 9 goals straight in the 3rd quarter. But it can be turned around in a short space of time. Fraser Gehring. Burton here to try and spoil Everett. Colbert, McKernan came in from the side. Here's Colbert. Got the arms loose. Got the ball away.
The Pickett loose in the pocket.
Colbert, didn't get a great bounce. Didn't have much in support either. Did pretty well to get it to Clayton in the end, or wasn't sure what he was trying to do to dispose of that. And in the end, probably would be pretty happy to see it out of bounds. So 4-7 the Kangaroos, 4-5 the Saints. Getting towards the halfway stage of this 2nd quarter on a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Canberra. Burton the tap. Beetham demanding the footy and getting it. And getting the Saints moving to centre half forward. Stevens and Archer can raffle this. Some competition they had from Walton in the end. Blakey, Thompson putting pressure on Archer, but he's got a man out wide. It's McLaren just hoping to get it before it went out of bounds, and he couldn't, much to his despair.
Boundary throw-in on centre wing.
Rod Butters and Michael Gudinski.
Everett from behind. Read it well. Thumped on that time by Walton. Chance now for Burke. Quick hands, finds Thompson. DeVos under pressure. Great tackle by Archer. Blakey just belts the ball back towards the wing. Powell is quick. Pickett, magnificent. Concedes ground. There's a rare mistake there from Stevens, who's good enough to get the ball back, and McLaren stands and delivers, unloads back towards centre half forward. Colbert lost his footing. The Saints, it was Blake, back towards the edge of the centre square. Gale, great handball, sets it up to Voss. To centre half forward, hits space. McCartney comes out, another bad bounce. Burke was legged, taken away by Stewie Lowe, and Stewie Lowe has kicked goal number 4.
Well, KB, it's just another matter of being in the right place at the right time. Stewie Lowe, he's kicked 4 goals now, and see the ball come through the middle of the ground there. Both players, fullback and fullback, running it. Burke just getting the ball.
There. Should have got a free kick.
Should have got it. But Lowe just been in the right place, wrong time. In the right time, sorry. And
he may have paid the free kick and paid advantage.
Didn't anyone tell Stuart Lowe it's Nathan Burke's 300? Not his again. He's kicked 4, Stuart Lowe, the big man, and got the Saints back up by 4 points. Harvey. Big Burton lumbering after it, but it goes in the direction of Blake and Colbert. Beautifully handled that time by McKernan, who unloads. A long one, but misses well to the left. But at least he picked it up beautifully and cleanly. The margin is 3 points again. Just has all the makings of a struggle, doesn't it, all day, with the lead changing several times, and a close finish. Let's hope so. Gehrig goes short and finds Moyle. Swartz takes the mark. Beetham, one of the options further afield. He's been very good for them in this quarter. He's had 9 possessions and 2 marks for the match. Good work by McKernan off the ball, then just enough to nudge Everett out of the contest and mean that Burton could get it unimpeded. Laid it off to Simpson, who's been very quiet for the Kangaroos. Good spoil. Here he is again, Beetham. This time he fumbled. Did appear he was tackled without the footy. Here's Byron Pickett to use his pace. Can he conjure something up from the pocket? Out of bounds.
Michael Klim watching the footy.
Seeing himself on the big screen here.
I wonder if he's been on TV before.
You'd think he hasn't the way he waved, wouldn't you?
Enjoying his football. Boundary throw in, so a chance for the Kangaroos. Cochrane. It was a good tap. It was well read that time by Harvey. Wobbles the ball back, front into the centre square. Spider. Magnificent at ground level. Foreign territory for him. Taken away by Stevens. And a good, strong mark taken by Blake, who's starting to develop as a player. Sends the ball close to the line. Thompson can't keep it alive. Davis can. Sets it up to Walton. Rockets the ball to Burke. Centering kick. Here's Stewie. He's got it. Those long arms. And Stewie Lowe, putting on an exhibition here at Manuka Oval, has booted 4 goals.
And a great kick from Stewie, from Nathan Burke there too. Just kicking right out in front of Stewie Lowe, not giving McCarthy any chance at all to get on top of him. And it required some good hands at the end of the day to take that mark, and that's one thing we know Stewie Lowe does possess. He's got an enormous pair of hands, probably the best mark in the competition.
There's efficiency for you, KB. 4 kicks, 4 goals.
Well, we might be looking at 5 from 5. Stewie Lowe from right on 50, leans back, unloads, hits the post.
Well, he pulled a hamstring in this same match earlier in the year in the Ansett Cup in a similar position to that. Just seemed to pull up a bit sore there. I think maybe his shoulder that time.
It was a fantastic mark though, wasn't it? It was
yeah.
a real Stewie Lowe classic.
You would have seen a few of them in front of you in your time at Moorabbin.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone take as good a mark as what he does.
King up to the wing. Burton, the target's got 3 to beat. Look at Lowe again. He crunched the pack. Burton recovered first. He smashed it, which was okay, except that it was all St Kilda players in front. Beetham received it from Pickett. This is Aaron Hamill now. Sets it up. McCartney in position to spoil. And he backed himself to take the mark in the end. Laid it off quickly for King. Now out wide McLaren. He has got the proverbial paddock. It's going to do it to him again, the ball. Bounced towards the boundary line. He had no one around him. And he just couldn't get on the end of the footy. Shakes the head. Says fair crack of the whip. Wouldn't have minded the footy bouncing back at me.
Well, King's had it 13 times. Harvey's had it 10. McLaren's had it 8 times. And John Blakey 11 for the Kangaroos.
Make that 12.
And Lenny Hayes 10. And Thompson's had it 13 times for the Saints.
Mark McKenzie calls for a bounce. So 5-6-36 St Kilda. 4-8-32 the Kangaroos. We're halfway through the second quarter. 4 goals for Stuart Lowe, 1 for Aaron Hamill for the Saints. And for the Kangaroos, 2 to Pickett and singles to McKernan and Lee Colton.
5-6-36 the Saints, the Kangaroos 4-8-32. Just caught a glimpse there of Jess Sinclair sitting on the bench along with Rawlings. Kangaroos, some fresh legs still to come on. Everett does it well to Hayes. The run comes from the champ. Harvey drills it. Stewie Lowe again was the target. This time a bit too much carry on the ball. King loves to run. Loves to take him on. Sizes up the situation and finds Blakey. It's a great kick and hard running from John Blakey and from this man as well. He's had a lot of the ball. Cochrane, Beetham, he's had to shield the eyes. McKernan also seemed to lose sight of it. Pulled off the ball. Surely there was a free kick then. Thought it might have went to Moyle because Pickett was hanging on. Koschitzky, the young man from Brocklesby, through the centre square, out in front. Simpson making ground, pushed off the ball by Harvey. Runs inside 50, 45 and closes. And again, hits the woodwork.
Simpson's got the job on Harvey today, and so far Harvey's had 10 possessions or 11 possessions. He's just started to come into the game and have a bit of an influence.
Just starting to warm up, Robert Harvey, and that is not a good sign for the Kangaroos. And very lucky to, well, Kangaroos very lucky there that he didn't finish that off a little bit better.
Saints by 5 points.
Simpson had Buckley last week. He's got Harvey this week. Not a bad fortnight.
Well, he kept Nathan Buckley to what? Just under 20 possessions? Yep. King just shared the ball around with Blakey. Wants to set it up. Archer's under a lot of pressure. Does well. Magnificent competitor. McLaren on the burst.
Got Rocker on the lead.
Runs away from Hayes. As the bend down, tries to take it on the half volley. Needs support. He doesn't want a U-turn. Taken by McLaren, who runs hard. It's a chance for Cole, but it could bounce.
It just won't bounce the right way.
Not for that
McLaren,
man.
will it?
Not for that man. Through for a behind.
Well, he had Colbert running through then, and maybe if he had just kicked it a bit softer, Colbert could have run onto it. But lots of ifs and maybes.
He's got
Gehrig, thumping kick. Spider got there to the contest, but couldn't take the mark.
Good fist from Sav.
and it looks like a St Kilda plan that when kicking out from defence, they're always going to kick long by the look of it so far, KB, which I don't think is too bad of an option.
No, I think sometimes we see too many short kicks and sometimes they get belted straight back over the head for a goal. So there's nothing wrong with a long option, as long as you kick it to an advantage.
So again, it's hard to draw a line through the form and these two sides in this match. Saints certainly with the momentum at the moment, leading by 4, but kicking on both sides been ordinary. Simpson off and Rawlings on, so I wonder if he'll take over the job on Robert Harvey, or whether that'll go to somebody else. It looks like it's gone to John Blakey, who's playing on him at the moment at the other end of the ground. Shannon Grant locked up against the pocket, had to go to a man who was also close to the line in Cochrane. Another throw-in. I guess they expected Harvey to play pretty much an on-ball role. Simpson's been with him, I think, the whole time, whether he's been forward or back, Harvey. He's mainly been forward at the moment. Now Everett gets it down. Thompson charging through, low kick, and tough on the wing because it was a fluky bounce. Davis, Hamill, both hard at it. Archer likewise. Archer's over the top of it, and eventually a bounce. So it's a pretty scrappy affair at times.
Yeah, it's one of those sort of games, but the move here with Harvey going up to the forward, just to give him a spell, just to make sure that he does get through a full game. I think that's a pretty good thinking from Malcolm Blight there, because he is the type of player that if he is on the ball, he's just going to run right till the end, isn't he? And he's just a good way just to keep a little bit of his energy for later in the game.
Yeah, well, David King's gone on to him now at the other end of the ground. Meantime, Kangaroos advancing through McLaren. Oh, beautiful kick. Clayton on the end of it. Takes the mark. McKernan leads. You'd think he'd be just about within distance here, but he doesn't look like he wants to have a shot. Eventually he does. Covers the distance easily, and there's something in the woodwork here at Manuka Oval.
I think that's 3 posters today we've seen, is it?
Yep.
Yes, 3 posters all in this second quarter. And Clayton is enjoying a good game. 6 marks and 12 possessions. Gale.
It's 4 goals, 10 now for the Kangaroos.
He's played some good football since coming across from Fremantle. Just caught in 2 minds. Decides to go long. Hamill's going to be the target. This will be a great contest. Archer with body work. Got him out of the contest. Mighty Mick never gets his ambitions and capabilities confused. Just puts the ball onto the boot. Burke. Found Hamill, who finds Voss. The run comes from young Koshitsky. He's going to go wide. Spider Burton's got to go. So does Peter Everett. So 2 Spiders competing for the ball. Harvey ripped out of his arms that time by King. The acceleration is great, then pumps the ball back to the wing. Chance for Shannon Grant.
Kangaroos have numbers.
Plenty of space. Getting back is McKernan. He'll want it long. He goes short and finds Clayton. McKernan's getting back to the square. Clayton from 45 metres out. McKernan! He's got it! He was heading back there. The first option didn't come, but the second one he has marked. Well, that's better play when he's actually indicating to players further field he wants the ball, showing a little bit more keenness to sort of get involved.
Well, they're just giving him a bit more room to work in too, and that can do your confidence. You know, you just got to be able to run onto the ball and just give yourself every opportunity. And we've seen kicking a lovely goal there before. This should be his second.
Bangs it through. Kangaroos in front. confidence slowly rising for that man on screen, Corey McKernan. He's only had it 4 times. He's had 3 marks and he's booted 2 goals, 1.
Without Wayne Carey today, the Kangaroos always were going to need a pretty big contribution from Rocker and Corey McKernan. And McKernan's come up with 2 goals so far. And out of the middle, Spider Burton certainly given them something in the ruck. Moyle back with a flight. Takes the gutsy mark. He's got Beetham pushing to the outer wing. Goes for him. McLaren to spoil. Did that well. And now he gets a chance, McLaren. He's got Harvey on his own 20 metres adrift. Harvey. Clayton, McKernan both calling for it. He goes for McKernan and Pickett. And Pickett's within range. He's got Shannon Grant. Oh, he had him. Didn't use him. He's going to go for goal. And why not? Why not just go back and go bang? 3 goals for Byron Pickett. He's got the taste for the long bomb.
And what a fantastic kick that was. And he had a couple of options there, but he decided to go it all himself. We see just marks just outside of 50 there. Didn't pass it off there and thought, oh, well, I'll just go back and I'll put it along into the square here, but he even went a little bit further than that. And a fantastic goal. He was very happy with it. Both arms up. A great goal by Byron Pickett.
Kangaroos by 9 points. Just over 3 minutes left in this second term. 6-10-48, 5-7-37 the Saints. And Byron Pickett has booted 3 goals. Stewie Lowe has kicked 4 for St Kilda. Clayton, a big ball winner today. Does well. Edge of the centre square. He's looking for McKernan. Got him. And all of a sudden, McKernan is starting to lead and attack the ball. Clayton's been a star. Getting advice also from Byron Pickett. They've kicked 5 goals between them. McKernan. Distance shouldn't be a worry. It can be a thumping kick from right on 50. Leans
Looks
back.
good too.
Great kick. He's got 3.
They've taken Rocker from the ground, playground. It just seems to have opened up the forward line a bit, doesn't it? Give a bit more space.
Well, it was a tall forward line. Rocker and McKernan there, both operating out of the square. But here we see Clayton has been fantastic, especially this quarter. He just turned his St Kilda opponent inside out there. And a beautiful pass, and this is what we said earlier on. McKernan needs, for his confidence to come back, just needs to be able to run onto a couple. That's what happened on that occasion. And he went back and he nailed a terrific 6-pointer. And we could nearly say he's back, KB.
Not quite, but
not quite.
I can see the confidence rising.
My word, well, that a little bit more of the Corey McKernan that we really do know.
So free kick in the middle here, the margin of 15 points. Saints needed to get one out of the middle. And Everett to take it. He's going to go long. Stuart Lowe's kicked 4 goals, 1 today. He's in good position here. Well, McCartney didn't give away the free kick. Goes in after it again. Harvey. Still Harvey. Martin. It's a good scrap out there. The Kangaroos defenders making sure of that. Shannon Grant gaining some ground as it goes over. Looks like Spider Everett might be coming for the ground for the Saints.
Yeah, he certainly is, Hutto.
No one's ready to come back on by the look of it.
No, this is interesting. We'll have a look at what develops here, but it's been the Spiders have been tangling all day here, Burton and Everett. Now, Everett's running back onto the ground. There's been nowhere to change his back.
McCartney coming out of the defence with the ball. Yeah, interesting. That was all taking place while the Kangaroos covering the territory. Blakey thumps it long. He's lurking again, is Clayton. Colbert made the spoil, or involved in it. Good work from Sinclair. Byron Pickett versus Moyle. Well done, Moyle, to make the spoil. Kazitsky overruns it and goes in again. Did pretty well to keep the paddle going. And then grabbed it nicely. Oh, he's banged it away very high. Wouldn't like to be underneath that one for too long. Stevens did a good job. Burke, though, made the spoil, but a free kick goes to Anthony Stevens. And now Everett coming off the ground, and Moyle is ready to replace him. Kangaroos going into attack, and Beetham, the juggling mark, not paid, but shouldn't matter. Blake waded his way through the oncoming traffic, just bombed it away. The Saints seem to have developed a habit of doing that at the moment. Look at Spider Burton showing the skills of a man about a foot shorter than him. Went for Rawlings but missed it. Gale. The run here from Powell. Rocker coming back on the ground meantime with McLaren going off. And that's Ben Walton on the end of that one. And Knowles is pushed deep into the square. Harvey to come and spoil. Stuart Lowe. Well done. Good support from Archer. And they can get away here. Sinclair's just ahead of Archer. Rocker's on the wing. Clayton says to Sinclair, keep on running, son. Go through the middle of the ground. Now, there's no one deep, so he had to hold play up a bit. Colbert back to Sinclair. They have just waited a bit long. He's got another touch, Sinclair, and a good kick for Shannon Grant. So great running, should be converted, deserved the goal, and Shannon Grant fired it through for another one. And well done, Jess Sinclair. Right on the halftime siren, has really given the Kangaroos a significant advantage in what has otherwise been a really tight contest, a 21-point margin. How many touches did he have in that one?
Yes, he had about 4 or 5 touches. It was a bad passage of play for the Saints because there's only 1 second left in this first half. And as soon as they bounce the ball, the siren will sound and the Kangaroos will take a 21-point lead into half-time. A lot of changes taking place here as young Lindsay Smith comes on and Rawlings is off. But the siren will sound, so he won't get much of a taste of it in this first half.
1 second.
So Lindsay Smith runs all the way to the goal square and he says, now I'll jog back. But at least it's a taste of the game here at Manuka Oval.
Let's hope he gets a run for the rest of the game, where it might be a short experience. 8:10:58 to 5:7:37 at halftime with the Roos in front. Is back with us. You're rugged up now, Mark. A bit cold for you, mate.
I can tell you, Hutto, it has dropped a couple of degrees here on the boundary this afternoon. It'll probably drop a couple more too. But the heat is on both of these teams. You can expect that things will step up a little bit in this second half. Peter Everett said during the week that they want to make this a very special game for Nathan Burke. They're not about to give this one up. And John Blakey said the Kangaroos are very disappointed with where they are on the ladder. So they too will have had a good rev from Dennis Pagan at half-time. It's going to be a pretty explosive second half. We're looking forward to it.
Thanks, Mark. 8:10 to 5:7. And I wonder what the forward line structure will be. It looks like Severio is back on the ground. McKernan playing at full forward for the Kangaroos. And Lindsay Smith, I think, has stayed on the ground down there.
Yes, Lindsay Smith.
Good to see.
Up at full forward.
It's had longer than 1 second that he had in the first half. So Spider Burton against Spider Everett. And give it to Burton. Burke off the ground from Burton. So the Kangaroos into attack. Harvey, superior pace, won the day. Unfortunately, didn't get a goal. And Moyle was pretty good late there, just forcing the spoil. And Brent Harvey has had a few troubles with his kicking at goal this year. Kicked 3 goals 9 going into today for the season. And hasn't helped with that behind. So he's now got 3 goals 10 for the year. Fraser Gehrig to kick in and puts plenty on it. Everett the target. Kaczynski as well. Thompson camped underneath. He weaved his way through beautifully and can set up a scoring opportunity, or at least a chance to go into attack. Peckett covering the lines through the middle. Thumped it for Stuart Lowe. McCartney in good position. Lowe brought it to ground. Powell couldn't get onto the end of it. And it's out of bounds.
8:11:59 the Kangaroos. The Saints are 5-7-37. The main goal kickers for the Saints, 4 goals to Stewie Lowe, and for the Kangaroos, 3 to Corey McKernan, all coming in that second term, and 3 to Byron Pickett. Kicked 2 in the first quarter, 1 in the second quarter. So a chance here for the Saints. Lowe doing the ruck work. He's been the target up forward, Motlop, and we see Powell pushing and shoving. Milne squeezed up on the boundary line, taken over by King. So a boundary throw in just 25 metres around from goal. There's David King, just a wry smile. Kangaroos lead by 22 points, led by 2 points at quarter time. Powell. Not quite certain what happened there with Robert Harvey. Just didn't take it cleanly. That's most unusual. And a throw in on 50.
Looked like he just had it spent before he'd actually got it, KB. But very important for St Kilda at this stage of the game. I know there's a fair bit of time left, but very important to get an early goal on the board.
Everett to Powell will be a centering kick. Mick Martin came out with McCartney. Stewie Lowe just can't bring it to ground. John Blakey got his body on the line. He'll get support. Gale, some pushing and shoving. Mighty Mick. It's taken the ground by Gale. Cochrane. It's a tug of war with Lenny Hayes. And Blakey's kick is smothered off the boot for a boundary throw-in. So it's gone from one side of the ground to the other. For a boundary throw-in. But in fact, it's come off on the full.
Boot, did it?
On the full. And John Blakey is going to take the kick.
Well, the statisticians have credited Aaron Hamill with a kick there. So obviously it came from his boot. He's got 9 possessions for the day, returning to Canberra.
Squeezed it down to the boundary line. Colbert, long raking handball. Been very impressed with Cochrane. He's got speed and pace. Runs to the point of the centre square. Big chance. Lindsay Smith. In his first game. Sinclair's taken to ground. Pickett. Oh, ripped the ball away. But we've got a ball up just 15 metres out from goal. So young Lindsay Smith. We saw him on screen there, number 38. Just dropping that crucial mark. So a chance for the Kangaroos. Burke, the tackler. Loose ball. McKernan had it. Tried to give it away. Knowles tried to crash his way through. He's been caught. And again, a ball up. This time, 25 metres out from goal. Colbert on screen with Gale. There's Lindsay Smith playing his first game. Young man recruited from Glenelg in South Australia. Everett. Couldn't take a clean possession. They'll pile on top. And again, a ball up. 8:11:59 the Kangaroos, the Saints 5:7:37. Colbert on screen. He's had it 12 times today, 2 kicks but 10 handballs. 17 positions to John Blakey, and 14 to Clayton. And a quick snap. It's off target and through for a behind. So the Kangaroos now by 23 points. Fraser Gehrig to bring the ball back into play, goes short, finds Burke. Still all tucked up in the back pocket. To Moyle. Carries the ball to half-back. Beetham on a long lead, should have taken the mark. There's a bit of sun down that end of the ground. Harvey did a 360. Sets it up to Knowles through the centre square. Koschitzky stands and delivers. Milne, he's got it. Loose players, Voss out wide, great vision, a wonderful option, and Voss's mark 30 metres out on a 45-degree angle. You can see there the tape around the jaw. Took a very courageous mark in the first quarter and got crunched doing it by Shannon Motlop. Left the field for some stitches in the chin. Important kick for the Saints. To drag it back to 17 points, Voss. Great kick.
So that's one back for the Saints. And Brett Voss, we remember, got that big cut above the eye early in the day and had it stitched up. And Adam Simpson just giving him a reminder there. Jess Sinclair getting some instructions. 17 points is the margin. Start of the third quarter. Everett knocked it into the path, but Colbert crashing through. Got the arms clear. Knowles, kick smothered. Severio, good hands. Burke getting them moving. Hamill versus Archer. Motlop backed himself. Archer, they're moving it pretty well. No direct option for King. Had to go for Martin, and he did pretty well to get out of it in the end and send it in the McKernan direction. Hit it pretty hard. Moyle did well to intercept. Saints fought amongst themselves. Harvey took the crumbs, and Grant will kick the goal. So the Kangaroos answer. in an emphatic way.
Well, he's a real class finisher, Shannon Grant. We just see here Corey McKernan contesting the ball well there. Come to ground. Brent Harvey, he's gone here, there and everywhere and gets the handball out to Shannon Grant, who's steady and had all the time under the sun and just kicked it from 30 metres. And he is a great finisher, Shannon Grant. And I think that's his second goal. So he's having a little bit of an impact on this game already, Shannon Grant.
Kangaroos by 23 points, 9-12-66. The Saints 6-7-43. And a big spider. Everett and Burton, they lock legs. Harvey all tied up. Ball up still inside the centre square.
So Brock has been pushed out to centre half forward now. With McKernan back in the forward line. And also
Lindsay Smith is there as well.
There.
He's standing down there, the young man at full forward, playing his first game. Came on with 1 second to go in the second quarter, so it was just a brief moment. But he has started on the ground. Here's Grant, just starting to set it up, the playmaker. To Simpson, has spent time on the bench, pumps the ball back. Harvey, been so dangerous today, set up the last goal. Harvey, a ball carrier, wants to centre the ball, just feigned the handball, came back just outside 50. It was a great touch off the boot. That came from Voss. Harvey works hard. Burke, they'll share it around. Spider Everett stands and delivers. It's a poor kick, just wobbles off the boot. Chance for Peckett inside the centre square. He's got to hit it hard. Smith did well. He's looking for Harvey, just shoveled the ball out. Conceded ground that time to Archer. Does well, gets a quick kick in. Great hands by Spider. Burton, have a go. Kicks a high ball, and Fraser Gehrig will take an easy mark. So good hands by Spider Burton. Gehrig just measured that kick. He's looking for Beetham. Rocker got his big body on the line. Missed the ball. Beetham. Koschitzki. Two young guns combined. And the run comes from Gale. Cross half back to centre wing.
Kick.
And it was a terrific kick in the end, Tony. Good call, because Powell's marked. There was 3 Kangaroo players to beat. Sets it up short to Hamill. 9 possessions today. And has kicked a goal, finds Peckett. Drops an easy mark. It's going to be under pressure. That's a throw. Got away with it. Moyle, it was a look-away handball. Didn't hit a target. Peckett. Take 2. A second effort. Kangaroos with the numbers. Grant, it was sloppy play across half back. And Burton comes away. It was a casual kick high into the forward line. A shove out from behind. That came from Colbert. And it wasn't seen.
Well, there's no one up in the forward line. Rocket goes back now. He should go back long to the square.
Harvey's going to be the target. Wants a kind bounce and gets it. It's been so dangerous today. Cochrane tries to bring the ball back. Rocker! Second grab. Well, Cochrane's had it 14 times today. He is a very impressive young player. And he has set this one up for Severio Rocker. Kicked it behind in the first quarter. Rocker from point-blank range. Hammers it home.
Another ball lost, I think, KB, to that one, right into the trees.
That one's landed in Fishwick, I think. But the young St.Kilda player, Koschitzki, has done a pretty good job on Rocker today. Rocker's only got the 1 goal on and 1 behind, and just hasn't quite been as effective as he was last week.
One goal, 1 for Sav Rocker. And the Kangaroos again just have, well, they've increased that margin from half-time. At the moment, they've kept the Saints at arm's length. 10-12-72, playing 6-7-43. Grant gets them going again, and here's Big Sav. Byron Pickett got a taste for the long bomb. This time he goes by hand instead. And good work by Harvey. Or Clayton lost his feet. That is unlucky, dead set unlucky. And I reckon that's a poor decision. I'd like to see the replay before I completely condemn the umpire.
just looked like he lost his footing there, just slips over. And
what is Fraser Gehrig meant to do if the player slips, KB?
Well, he was going down, but he did make contact to the head. You've got to protect the player. You can't hit a player in the head.
But, I mean, if you fall over, there's nothing you can do if the bloke slips over in front of you.
Bad luck.
You're a hard man,
made a good
KB.
umpire, wouldn't he?
He's a hard man. Clayton to kick for goal and only just carried the distance. It's still worth 6 points, though. It's another one.
He's played a darn good game, Clayton. He's been very good since the opening bounce. He's had it 15 times. He's taken 7 marks. He's just kicked his first goal. Brett Harvey has been a thorn in the side of St Kilda. He's just so quick around the ground. He's really been a ball carrier today. He's had it 19 times, and he's really been a catless midfield for the Kangaroos.
Sinclair onto the ground, and Glenn Archer coming off for a well-earned rest.
(11-12) 78 the Kangaroos. The Saints 6-7 43. Kangaroos now by 35 points after leading by 21 points at half-time. Beetham just trying to use a little bit of muscle. Milne just pushed off the ball. Hasn't really been dangerous today. The dancing feet not in action. Archer taking a spell. So there's a ball up still inside the centre square. And the Saints need a spark. Up forward, it's really only been Stewie Lowe who's had any firepower. He's booted 4 goals. Harvey. The ball will come back and will go to Milne. Still inside the centre square. Now Peter Everett's getting back. Stewie Lowe wants the ball long. Everett's on a long lead. So the 2 big guns up forward in this marking contest, and Everett has got it. Got to move the ball much quicker into their forward line, don't they, Tony? And the big guns have got to get back there so they can give themselves an option.
Yeah, he had Low one out in a one-out contest down there, and that should have been, he should have just went straight back and kicked it in long. Having said that, it did give time for Peter Everett to get back there, and Peter Everett has done what not many can do, and he just sticks that big arm out, bounced off a hand, and he's regathered it.
Important kick for the Saints.
Just pushed it to the right-hand side of the goalpost, and one gets the feeling that St Kilda need a couple of quick ones just to stay in touch here.
Body language not great, is it?
No, not really. Just starting to lose a little bit of confidence.
They look very flat, don't they?
78-44. Kangaroos by 34 points. King has been one of their good players again today. Really does lift, and here's Archer back on the ground, across half back. Penetrating kick. And Severio Rocca nearly took it on the half volley. Cochrane working hard at the bottom of the pack along with young Kosicki, and we have got a boundary throw in. Acting captain on screen there. Harvey. Stevens picking up Harvey. So from the boundary throw in, the Kangaroos pump the ball back. Was Brent Harvey been taken by Gale. He's at half back. So a big transfer of play. Finds Fraser Gehrig. It's on the back edge of the centre square. Hamill's on a lead. That's been ignored. He goes short. Finds big Spider Everett, who pumps the ball long. There's no one home except this man who's reading the game magnificently today, Brent Harvey, but finally beaten over the line by the bounce.
We saw Burton come off the ground. I'm just trying to pick up.
He's in the dugout at the moment.
Yeah, just trying to pick up whether Petrie's on or whether McKernan's going to be doing the ruck work. At the moment, it's McCartney and Lowe. Motlob, Stevens, Grant. Off the right boot, around the corner. Tough one for McLaren. The ball continues to not bounce his way and goes over the line and out of bounds. And don't forget, i7sport.com.au. Jared Healy in the chat room tomorrow night at 7:30. So get on the line and send all your emails and so forth to Jared Healy. And I'm sure, dear Jared, he'll answer them for you. The Saints going forward. Stuart Lowe, big chance here. Goal number 5 should be the result of all this for Vic Stewie, who hasn't seen a lot of the footy today, but He's kicked 4 goals, 1 when he has gone near it. And he just, again, looks a little bit sick and sorry as he gets up.
Well, he's making the most of his opportunities there, and we just see McCartney's just give him a little bit of a pat on the tummy there, I think. But as Stewie Lowe always does, kept his eyes on the ball, and a great one-grab mark. And he's gone back now, lining up for his 5th goal in what should be a relatively easy goal here, KB.
You would think so. He's had his kicking boot on today.
Really cannot afford to miss this one, the Saints. And Stewie Lowe does the job, kicks his 5th. So he's trying to keep them in it. Michael Clem, I think, is a St.Kilda fan from memory.
Got his name on. Got his name. Is that Pure Clem on the back? Clem is milk spelled backwards, isn't it?
Yes.
Pure Clem. Aren't they the sponsor?
Well, he's a Saints fan now, anyway. If he wasn't before, he is now.
Michael Clem is here. He barracks for the Saints. He's starting to oil up the voice box. 7-8-50 the Saints. They trail by 28 points, 11-12, 78 the Kangaroos. And Big Spider Everett has been in the ruck all day, comes charging in, just trying to lift the Saints. Milne, the tackler, loose ball. Cochrane, it was a clever tap out. Finds Grant, and the run comes from McLaren. Goes wide and finds Rocker. McKernan getting back inside 50. Simpson, too much carry on the ball. And it's a boundary throw-in just 30 metres around from the Kangaroos' goal. There's Adam Simpson on screen. Just 4 possessions today. Did start the game against Robert Harvey. He's coming off a big game last week against Nathan Buckley. And Cochrane's leaving the field. That's a bit of a surprise because he's had a pretty good game. Might need a breather as Rawlings comes on. Again, a toss back in. So a chance for the Kangaroos. Both these sides 2 and 5 leading into this game. Beetham. It's the ball across to Begley. Milne now having a run on the ball. The dancing feet of Milne under pressure. Begley recovers well. Finds Moyle across half back. Burke playing game number 300. He's got King to beat. Bit too big and strong. Just put him out of the contest with body pressure. King from centre wing, stands and delivers. McKernan looks dangerous. Got the ride, couldn't get the hands up. Beetham was ripped off the ball. Will take the free. Advantage. Thompson had it, lost it. To Begley, edge of the centre square. The Saints into attack. Here comes Big Stewie. Can't get there, couldn't make ground. Peckett had it and lost it. Rawlings straight off the bench. Some fresh legs, kicks it off the ground. Peckett tries to keep the ball alive. Harvey, a one-grab player, intercepted that time by Stevens, pushed off the ball. Magnificent play by Stewie Lowe. Again, a chance for the Saints. McCartney goes crunch. Don't argue. Robert Powell. And the free kick is going to the Kangaroos. Under pressure, Kangaroos squeeze the ball back, taken by Stewie Lowe, who goes short, finds Harvey, well within kicking distance.
And we need a captain's goal here for the St Kilda Footy Club. 40 metres on about a 45-degree angle here. It's certainly well within the kicking distance of Robert Harvey.
Just one behind today to Robert Harvey. He's had it 14 times. Harvey from 48 metres. The distance is there. He doesn't like it. Just a grimace on the face there of the St Kilda champ.
Burton replacing Clayton. So again, they're going back to the original structure with a tall running in the ruck in Burton rather than McKernan. Out of defence, Blakey. Oh, he drew the player, had to get it back off Stevens, can loop it over for Shannon Grant. So some run through the wing, provided by Johnny Blakey. Unloaded the kick for centre-half forward. Sinclair had to fly in the end, so they didn't really have a target across centre-half forward. McLaren, quick with the hands. If Rawlings can get it on the boot, Big Spider Burton was down there. Instead, they take their time to work it back. McLaren, he's not down there anymore, Burton, unfortunately. McLaren might get a lucky bounce here. He hasn't had one all day, so I wouldn't bank on one. And that's a behind. Probably should have done better in the end.
That's his third behind today to Joe McLaren.
Against his former team, the Saints. Nathan Burke spots up Lenny Hayes through centre half back. Burke goes again out wide for Everett. Not a great kick with the sun bearing down. Off the ground, I think, from Shannon Grant. That's a good mark from Mark Gale under pressure. That's a dangerous but safe enough kick in the end. Begley can switch it with Gehrig. He's got runners to work with. Thompson on his inside. Gehrig's kick was pretty ordinary. Hamill, Moyle through the middle. Kazitsky can load it up and go long with it. Well, a pretty good kick in the end. Stuart Lowe just couldn't get the end of it. Will it sit for Milne? No. Got a McLaren-like bounce, and the ball went out of bounds. So 11-13-79 the Kangaroos. The Saints 7-9-51. Big chance for them here, St Kilda.
4.5 minutes left in this third term. Quick kick comes from Knowles. Puts it through for a behind.
Thought they'd hit the behind post there.
That's why I just hesitated. I was just waiting for the umpire to
They looked at
give
each
that
other.
signal.
The goal umpire and the boundary umpire looked at each other. See if we can come back to it in a minute.
David King to bring the ball back for the Kangaroos. 11-13-79. They lead by 27 points. 7-10-52 the Saints. King goes short to Grant. All their good players have actually played well today.
Yep.
Grant and King and Harvey. McKernan's come good with 3 goals. All coming in that second quarter. Of course, no Wayne Carey today. They needed their experienced players to stand up, and so far they have delivered. Burton, those long arms.
McKernan going
Rockets
back
the
to
ball
goal
wide.
square.
Finds McLaren. They've had to concede ground. They've backtracked towards Grant. It was clever play to Cole, but he's all tied up by Harvey. And it's a ball up.
Real opportunity missed then, wasn't it, Plugger, with McKernan running back into space.
He had lots of space there and just didn't get it from his teammates there. They took the wrong option, and as so often is the case, we've seen a scramble in the middle of the ground, and we're going to get a centre bounce now. Ball up in the middle of the ground.
Fraser Gehrig just signalling the bench there, whether or not he doesn't want to be on. McKernan. Burke working hard in his 300th game to Hamill. He's kicked a goal. And Motlop. I reckon he's been impressive in defence today, Shannon Motlop. We saw him the year they won the premiership as a goal sneak forward. But today, playing on the half-back flank, maybe he's going to find his niche. There's a chance. Grant Simpson's under pressure. It was great play. It was a look-away handball. He must have got the call from Grant. Tucked away that time by Fraser Gehrig. I reckon Fraser Gehrig's hurt himself. I reckon he's injured. He looked like he was in a little bit of trouble when he punched that ball away. Sinclair keeps the ball in, and Grant has taken the mark.
Yeah,
So
KV, you're right there with Fraser Gehrig. The doctor's just been down to see him and is lurking around that pocket area. He'll be back to Fraser Gehrig.
He's in
not
some
100%.
trouble. Sinclair can run in, can kick a goal. Sinclair, 45 metres out and closing. He's missed.
I think he's dislocated a finger by the look of it. Yep. Oh! Look away now. You don't want to see the pain. In fact, I think I gave the warning just a little bit late. Gale had pulled back, went short for Harvey. Nothing doing for Robert Harvey. Absolutely nothing, so he had to go really short. Kazitsky using Hamill. Watch out, Harvey. The steal is on. King gets it back and finds a way through. Beautifully done, David King. Well, that'll make it pretty tough now for the Saints.
Well, St Kilda just mucking around with the ball a little bit too much there, a bit of overuse there. King stole the ball off Harvey. Got the hands over to Shannon Grant. Here throws the dummy, and David King. I don't think there's a player playing league footy that likes to kick a goal as much as David King, and he's been very effective today. Finished the work off with a lovely goal.
Malcolm Blight just pondering what he can do. Peter Jonas also there, his right-hand man. King 24 possessions, Harvey 21. They are tearing the Saints apart. David King, he's an exhilarating player, team-lifting player. Here's Grant, speak of the devil. Just squeezes that handball out. Rawlings got the bounce he wanted. Blakey has been outstanding across half-back, and the consummate defender puts the ball over the line for a boundary throw-in.
He's ever dependable, Johnny Blakey, isn't he?
He's had a lot of the ball today as well. 21 possessions and 4 marks. Over 300 games. Under 2 minutes in this third quarter. And the Kangaroos have the ball on their half-forward line as McLaren runs it over. So another toss back in. 12-14-86 plays 7-10-52. 34-point lead to the Kangaroos. Maybe some fresh legs for the Saints at three-quarter time as we see Andrew Thompson all tied up as well.
Yes, just over a minute remaining in this third quarter. 3 goals for Pickett and McKernan, 2 goals for Shannon Grant. For the Saints, lone hand from Stuart Lowe, 5 goals. Simpson bombs it for full forward. Young Smith, he stood up, gets boot to ball and puts it through. So Smith scores a goal. Well done to the young man. Lindsay Smith with his second kick in AFL footy.
And a great second effort here from young Smith. You see the ball kicked up there, a contest, comes to the ground, and soccer-like skills there from young Smith, and he's just whacked that straight through the middle for a 6-pointer. Didn't look like missing, did it?
No. So they're running away with it now, the Kangaroos. 13-14, 92 to 7-10-52. 40 points in it. Pickett sits down. Hasn't had the most glorious of afternoons, Justin Pickett.
Well, the Kangaroos led by 2 points at quarter time, 21 points at half time. They now lead by 40.
Bit of claret down there, Mark Beretta.
Yes, it is indeed. Looks like Caden Beetham coming off there just to get some attention under the blood rule.
Kangaroos by 40 points. They're led by 21 at half time, so they've extended the lead by 19. Simpson now starting to work his way back into the game, has spent some time on the bench. McKernan had a great second quarter. It was great for his confidence. He booted 3 goals. Burke never stops trying. Harvey, I thought he might have been ripped off the ball. Simpson to Grant. Grant's been magnificent today. Stevens, the acting skipper, 45 metres out. Can he bend it back? He can't. Through for a behind.
Yeah, I wonder how Nathan Burke's feeling at this stage. 15 possessions for him this afternoon. His great mate Stuart Lowe's kicked 5 goals, but his team looks like going down at the moment. 41 points is the margin. Last 30 seconds of the third quarter, so the Saints just under a minute to try and score a last goal, which they would dearly love before the last break, but it seems unlikely at this stage. Everett calling for it long and strong, and that's where the kick goes. Got to beat Burton and Savrocker, who's got the run from the side. And well done, Severio. Now, he could just about go for home from here. He's going to. It's a thumper. McKernan back with a flight from the side. Smith, Shannon Grant. A boot to ball.
It's crashed into the point post as well, Shannon Grant. That would have hurt.
Thought Severio could have cranked up the top, really, if he was going to have a fair think and shot at goal then, Plugger.
It was still a big kick, wasn't it? And that's the great thing. When you get the ball into the forward line quick like he did then, it just creates so much more opportunity for the players up there. And being a forward himself, I'm sure he was well aware of that.
Good size, Lindsay Smith, isn't he? He's a big boy. He's had the ball in his hands a couple of times, just hasn't quite taken a grab yet, but he does show a little bit. And that goal he kicked off the ground shows that he's pretty smart as well. Everett. He's played a lone hand in the ruck today. Simpson. His clever play. Archer just worked his way through. And there's Grant. Still pretty sore from crashing into that point post. So at three-quarter time, the Kangaroos have a handy lead. 13-16, 94. Lead St. Kilda 7-10, 52 by 42 points.
Unfortunately, we just look pretty flat.
42 points down. Can you get it back from here?
Oh, look, we're certainly going to have a go. We'll try a few things. We'll see if we can open up things in the forward line and just see if we can get a few quick goals, and you never know.
All right, thanks, Peter.
Peter Jonas down there with Mark Beretta, who looks a bit like Ned Kelly without the helmet down there with his big coat on. Doing it tough is poor Mark.
Strange he's wearing that dry as a bone too, because it's pretty warm out here today at Canberra.
It is, about 25 degrees.
Become soft since he's moved to Sydney.
That'll get back. 13-16-94 to 7-10-52. Does that happen to everyone that moves to Sydney, KB?
Except Tony Lockett.
Yeah. Last quarter underway, and we'll check on what those changes that Peter Jonas alluded to in a moment, just to see what the Saints are trying in this last term to open it up. High tackle first up, though, on Simpson. Garrick's still playing at fullback. Kazitsky is still down there on rocker. The other end of the ground, Stuart Lowe is still at full forward. Gale against Colbert. Good spoil from Colbert. Peckett as opposed to Pickett. Well picked up by Corey McKernan, and he loves it. Great start in this last quarter for Corey, and that's 4 goals won. And I'm certain if it had gone to Corey before the game and said, we'll give you 4 goals won for the match, he would have taken it.
I'm sure he would have, Hutto, and that's not how St Kilda would like to have started that last quarter. Peckett's handball there, just not finding a target, turnover, fall into the lap of Corey McKernan, snaps it over his shoulder, and he's got his 4th for today and would be a lot happier with his form today.
Rawlings and Sinclair, the interchange bench. As we see, Everett comes charging in, beaten this time by Burton. 4 goals now to Corey McKernan, so his confidence is rising. Hayes just somehow got boot to ball. Motlop has been very good playing on Milne. Hasn't been the dangerous player today. Beetham, just with strength. This man has been fantastic. Brent Harvey sets it up. Burton, a call to Cochrane, who I think has been very good all day. Here comes McKernan now. The confidence is high. Gale, cross half back. So the Saints need to get some run quickly, get the ball into the forward line. Here's a big fly, and that was Powell. Better judgment was Harvey. Powell's hurt himself behind play. Simpson, no need to bounce the ball after one step. And here's a chance. It's going to be set up, and an easy mark is going to be taken by Colbert. So that just gives you an idea. If you move the ball quickly in the forward line, Tony, you can create space.
Well, that's what it's all about, and just with a little bit of space to work into the forwards there, and that's exactly what happens, KB. He's going to be on a bit of a tight angle here, a little bit tighter than what he originally thought he was going to be, but...
He's going for his second goal, and he's just going to grab a bit of space, and he's just pulled it too much.
Just even a little bit too casual in that attempt. I think he could have gone back and taken a little bit more time and thought about what he was doing a little bit better than that, but anyway, he's kicked a point, and now St Kilda will clear through Fraser Gehrig.
The Kangaroos by 49 points. Just had too many good players, particularly through the middle of the ground. David King and Harvey just carried the ball so quickly, and of course up forward, a return to form today of Corey McKernan with 4 goals, and Byron Pickett also set him alight early with 3. Hamill has struggled to really have an impact on this game. He's had it 12 times, has kicked a goal, but not much coming out of that passage of play. Gale cleans up. Koschitzki, and they're chasing from behind. Very strong from Pickett, so it's a big turnover. King unloads, looking for McKernan, got a shove out. It's been paid. The mark to Fraser Gehrig, so he got away with it. Goes short and across the ground to Koschitzki. He can show his skills on both sides of his body. Archer's getting back. Burke to Moyle. And the run comes from Hamill, 55 metres out. Stewie Lowe's the target. Got him.
Great kick, wasn't it? Good lead and a great kick.
Great kick from Hamill, and just put the ball just out in front of Stewie Lowe, and that's what it's all about. Get the ball out in front of your forwards, let them run under it. And Stewie Lowe didn't let him down, and he'll go back now and line up for his 6th goal.
They seem to be missing Barry Hall today because they've only had the 3 goal kickers. They've kicked 7 for the day, and this man has booted 5. So it's been a forward line really that is centred around just the one player. So they need a bit more firepower. They need more players contributing. Stewie Lowe going for goal number 6. 3 individual goal kickers for St Kilda, 8 for the Kangaroos. To keep the Saints alive, Stewie Lowe, 35 metres out, kicks a goal. Well, it's a solo effort, isn't it, Tony?
Yeah, look, he's been, you know, he's been the one and only focal point up there. Stewie Lowe has certainly done his job, KB. That's his 6th goal today. and that's just been a great effort. He just needs a bit more help from a few of his teammates, and they could have made this a little bit more of a contest.
(14-17 to 8-10). Last quarter from Manuka Oval. Burton got the tap, helped on by Pickett. Tough one for Thompson to control. He did pretty well, but in the end, Shannon Grant, who's been influential this afternoon. 30 possessions for Shannon Grant. This is Adam Simpson, who just bangs it away. Colbert and McKernan down there. And Lindsay Smith, they got a half kick away. Burke fumbled, Harvey didn't. And Harvey misses.
It's a let-off.
He just can't find the goals, Brent Harvey, this year. It's 3 goals 11 he's kicked for the season. So you think that will change at some stage. Moyle takes the mark and move it on to Thompson. Got someone on the overlap in Justin Pickett, Peckett, if he can get the ball moving. Now he goes longer. Everett and Hamill both flying. Good spoil from Spider Burton. He's been good today, Spider Burton. Shannon Grant again through the traffic. Rocker back for Archer. Wasn't a great handball. Powell in trouble, lost it. King with the momentum, got to his feet. Great stuff from David King. Escaped well. His kick was all right in the end to Harvey. About 80 from goal. Goes to the space. Shane Clayton was high. No mark. Well taken by Lenny Hayes. Gale in support. Kicked it quickly. Oh, Severia. From 50, it was a wobbly one. McKernan. Oh, he did brilliantly well. And deserved better than that post-up.
Well, Kobe, if that one had gone through, I was definitely going to say he's back.
He's back.
This is a great grab. He's taking this with one hand.
Very unlucky not to get a goal there.
4 goals to Corey McKernan, including that post-up. Hayes. Must say the forward line today for the Kangaroos have really put a lot of pressure on the St Kilda defence. There's been no easy kicks, no easy handballs. Haven't been able to really get that running game going. Peckett to Koschitzky. I think this young boy can play. I think he's got a big future. 13 times and 4 handballs. Now, if the other #1 draft choice, Nick Riewoldt, is as good as Koschitzky, then I think they can really build a couple of tall players at St Kilda. Smith didn't get the bounce he wanted. Fraser Gehrig goes wide to space. Looking for Peckett, the veteran. To Hayes. Just working his way now to be one of the major midfield players for the Saints. Finds Nathan Burke. His 300th game, 16 possessions and 4 marks. To Harvey. The run will come from Powell inside 50, so a chance for the Saints, and getting back is Begley. Oh, now the mark hasn't been paid. Stewie Lowe going for goal number 7. Great kick. Well, talk about playing a lone hand up forward. 7 goals to Stewie Lowe. 2 goals came in the first quarter, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, and now 2 in this fourth quarter.
And it really opened up for Lowe here, as we see there. St Kilda player Begley just dropped the ball. Stewie Lowe looks like he's got all the time under the sun there. Went forward, went back, and sighted the goals and thought, well, I'll have a go at him. And he's nailed it with another one. He's 7th for the day.
14-19, 103 to 9-10-64. But Stuart Lowe is trying his guts out to keep the Saints well in with some sort of chance, but it would be an extraordinary recovery from here. Beetham got it moving. Moyle. 14-19, 103 to 9-10-64. Lowe 7 goals. The only other goal kickers for the Saints, 1 each to Hamill and Voss. Kangaroos have shared it around. 4 to McKernan, 3 to Pickett, 2 to Shannon Grant, and then singles to Colbert, Clayton, Rocker, King and Smith.
Well, I think the horses bolted Hutto, but they've now moved Mickey Martin back onto Stewie Lowe.
Hayes. Harvey. Thompson. Did well to get the kick away in the end. Here's a chance for them. Hamill. No, yes, busting it open. Well done. He found the goals eventually, Aaron Hamill. 2 goals for Hamill. So the Saints come with a little bit of a rush. The margin is 33 points. And well done for Andrew Thompson on that occasion to really get them going initially there and work hard. And in the end, Hamill coming in with his 2nd goal. Well, if they operate as quick as Adelaide did in the 3rd quarter last night,
there's still time.
Be a chance.
The Saints drag it back to a 33-point ball game. Stewie Lowe has booted 7. He's inspired the Saints. Grant again works hard outside that centre square. Kosicki in front. Some pushing and shoving with Rocker. Davis. The tackler was Harvey. 31 possessions to Brent Harvey. Goes short, sets it up to his skipper, Stevens. That's a wonderful kick. He has drilled it. First goal of the game to Anthony Stevens, and just when the Saints were mounting a challenge, looks like he may have snuffed it out.
Yeah, well, he looked for options in at the front of goal there, KB, but there wasn't any presenting himself, so he thought, well, I better have a shot myself here, and possesses great skills, Anthony Stevens, and what a fantastic goal it was.
So the Saints now face a task that you would think would be impossible. 39 points, 15-19 to 10-10. Spider Burton's done a great job all day in the ruck. He's had 9 hit-outs, 10 possessions. Kangaroos going forward again. McKernan, kick 4, stretching it out for Sinclair, shepherding from Rawlings. Sinclair should kick a goal, and he does. So it's a bit of a goal feast in this last quarter at Manuka Oval. Kangaroos have kicked 3, and the Saints have also kicked 3.
Well, it's very important that that boy on screen really picks up his form in the second half of the year, because he has got a lot of ability, and it's good to see him kick that goal. It's been somewhat disappointing so far, because we know he's played a lot better football over the Fremantle Dockers than what he really has with the Kangaroos. He's just got to really knuckle down and really get the best out of his ability. 16-19, 115 the Kangaroos. The Saints 10-10-70. So all of a sudden it's back to 45 points. Have led by as much as 49 the Kangaroos. Harvey, just magnificent. McKernan, confidence returning. Maybe it has returned.
Good, strong one-grab mark to KB, which is a good sign for Corey McKernan. And directly in front, kicking from probably 45 metres. And I think you could safely say that he's a very good chance of kicking this one too. As you called it well before, KB. His confidence obviously would be coming back now after a pretty good game today.
5 goals would be a very good bag. McKernan looks like he's pushed it right. And he's missed a wonderful opportunity. So he's booted 4 goals, 3 today, including a poster in this last quarter. Stewie Lowe at the other end of the ground has booted 7 goals, 1. That 1 point came in the second quarter when he hit the post. Gehrig, as the time clock ticks away. 11 minutes left in this final quarter. As Gehrig goes long, with an aeroplane spin, and Everett, strong mark. Got into the back there of Lee Colbert. Blakey should mark. It was a poor kick. It wasn't really to an advantage. Put Blake under a lot of pressure. This is where they've hurt St. Kilda. Rawlings on the rebound, pumps the ball back. Colbert is strong overhead. Got a finger to it. Just needs a good bounce. He needs support. He'll get it. Rocker should kick a goal. Oh, great tackle. And Gale. Now, they've paid the advantage. Gale wasn't aware of that. The ball will come to Blake, and he'll go short, and he'll find Powell. The run comes from Andrew Thompson. Edge of the centre square towards centre half forward. Hamill's the target, and a free kick. McCartney's given it away. Now Beetham decided to play on So they paid the advantage. Not quite certain whether the advantage was there for St Kilda. Milne's been caught. Motlop, I think, has been magnificent today on that dangerous player. Mighty Mick all tied up. Taken away by Clayton. Time for think music. Then pumps the ball back. Swartz is there. Simpson came out. Nearly took it on the second grab. Simpson comes through again. Correction there. That was Cole, but it was a brave attempt. Spider Burton may have lost it in the sun. Fraser Gearig is caught. It's a wild handball. Look out, here comes Pickett. Byron has booted 3. Can't get through. Fraser Gearig can. He's all tied up. Taken away by Hayes. Caught under a lot of pressure. And Swartz from the back edge of the centre square pumps the ball back. Harvey might have momentarily lost it in the sun. McCartney bends down, can't take a grab. Look at King, magnificent, trips the light, fantastic. Did the hippie shake, got out of trouble. Taken away by Cochrane. On the burst, comes away on centre wing and pumps the ball back. Here's Grant. Couldn't take it. Beetham, he'll get support. Fraser Gearig.
Oh, great stuff, KB. Kaczynski takes it away. Nathan Burke around the boundary line. Thompson. Oh, shades of Baryshnik. I couldn't go on, KB. We've been talking about that one all day. Up to half forward. No mark. Stevens takes it away.
He's lost it, unfortunately. Chance down for the Kangaroos, and Motlop just comes streaming through that centre square. This is a measured kick, a big kick. The long stretch came from McKernan. Swartz overruns the ball. Not big Spider Burton. Kaczynski, good hands for a young player. And good vision. Sets it up wide and finds Moyle.
So Moyle to take it for the Saints and send them back into attack. Davis presented himself. Haven't seen too much of him today. 5 possessions. Long for low. Can he make it number 8? Martin wrapped him up. And a bounce.
A couple of big names on the bench for the Kangaroos. Sav Rocker joined there by Matthew Burton.
16-21, 16 to 10, 10-70. Crowd of 10,958 at Manuka Oval this afternoon for this Kangaroos Saints match. So the crowd could hold, I think, around 15 or 16,000 the ground. Maybe just a fraction down. There is a big rugby union match on tonight. Might have taken some away. Burke in his game 300, and he slots it through for a goal. You thought that missed, KB?
Well, I thought he may have missed, but he's got the goal. And that's great in his 300th game.
Bit hard to tell from the replay, wasn't it? But obviously the goal umpire saw that it was a goal.
Kangaroos by 40 points, and that man on screen celebrating 300 games today. And you would have played many great games with that man there, Nathan Burke, Tony, and lovely to see him kick a goal in such a milestone game.
Yeah, look, he loves kicking a goal too, and it's just a little bit unfortunate that the St Kilda side just haven't performed a little bit better today, but that can happen.
You just see the ball there coming back from the kids. Fortunately, we've got another one. Sinclair. Strong play by Pickett. Sinclair, take 2. Cochrane, all tied up. Spider Everett, bit of aggression. Archer has it, and it's a ball up inside the centre square. 16-20, 116 the Kangaroos. The Saints 11-10, 76. And we've got just over 7 minutes left. So the Kangaroos hoping to make a mark up here at Canberra. We heard Andrew Carter, their president, say earlier today that they hope to play a number of games up here. If the crowd can support the Kangaroos, they'd be pretty impressed with what they've seen today. Grant. It's been magnificent, along with Harvey and King and McKernan and Pickett. They've had some big winners today. Clayton's been good as well. Just caught in 2 minds. Decides to go for the goal square. Sinclair from behind. Ball forced over the line for a behind.
So 16-21, 117 to 11-10, 76. Low kick through centre half back. Harvey. Good work from Blake. And now Harvey getting it back again. Striding out for Lowe. He's got 2 to beat. He crashed through pretty well. Created the contest. And Powell goes off the ground and eventually gets the goal. So the goals continuing to come in this last quarter. The Saints have kicked 5 for the term, and the Kangaroos 3. 3 goals 5, in fact, for the Kangaroos. So they've been able to pretty much maintain their lead. Margin back to 35 points. That's Powell's first for the afternoon.
Kangaroos by 35 points. Everett and Burton. They've locked horns all day. Burton, good enough to get the kick away. Grant, close to the best player on the ground for mine. It's been magnificent today. It was great last week as well. And has that been touched? It has, off the boot for a behind. It was terrific against Collingwood. And to think the week before he was playing in the AFL.
The VFL.
VFL, I should say. And today has absolutely torn St Kilda apart. Simpson stands his ground. Couldn't quite take it on the second grab.
Gee, did well, though.
Cochrane to Harvey, his partner in crime, and kicks a goal.
He's pretty happy about finally finding the middle too, Brent Harvey. Kicked 3 goals 11 before that kick for the season.
Well, there's no Wayne Carey today, and I think you said before the game, Anthony, where were the goals going to come from?
Yep.
Well, certainly he's only kicked 1 goal, but he's really helped to set up the Kangaroos today. King has been terrific as well, and throw in Shannon Grant. They've really gave that midfield, tremendous amount of acceleration. They've won so much of the ball, and they've just pumped it down that many times that, finally they've been able to really put St Kilda away. The Saints just haven't been able to handle this midfield speed today of the Kangaroos. 37
possessions for Shannon Grant, and could be one of the highest possession games he's ever had, because he's normally a fairly quality user of the ball, isn't he, in the mid-20s to low 30s, but 37, a terrific effort. Here's Stevens, who has also been magnificent for them. 18 possessions for Anthony Stevens, the acting captain. Archer, seemed to be some doubt over his fitness coming in. He's got the thigh heavily strapped. Beautifully controlled kick into the path of Lee Colbert, who's had 17 possessions now. He might wind up and have a crack at the goals. It's coming back. And the man in Shannon Grant we were talking about has just been able to sneak in and take the mark right on the line. And he's going to wheel around here. And I'm not sure if it's a goal or not. It's a behind. So Shannon, 38th possession. He's kicked 2-5 for the day, Shannon Grant.
Just under 5 minutes left. Coming into today's game, both sides 2 and 5, so such an important game if you want to keep in touch with the top 8, and the Kangaroos have prevailed. The confidence has come back after that big win over Collingwood last week when they looked down and out a couple of times. And the Saints, they'll have to go back to the drawing board because the forward line really hasn't worked today, and the midfield has been really carved up. Now, we've got balls going everywhere up here at Manuka Oval. Take your pick.
He doesn't like that one.
Geary to bring the ball back into play. (82 plays, 125. 43-point lead to the Kangaroos. Burke through the centre square to Beetham. To Harvey. Has to concede ground. Finds Schwarz still inside the centre square. Stewie Lowe's the target. Thought he may have taken it. Mighty Mick cleans up to Motlop. Just may have found his niche there in the back pocket, across the half-back line. And Harvey has taken the mark. Squeezed right up on the boundary line. Finds McLaren. Playing against his old side, so he'll enjoy this win today. Stevens has been good as well. 20 possessions. The kick's a poor one, been intercepted by Swartz.
He wants to get it moving. Now has to go back.
This is where they've been great, haven't they?
Yep.
That tackling and putting him under pressure, that's been a big winner today for the Kangaroos.
Sinclair long. Smith's the extra man if they could spoil. He had to spoil, so couldn't get it at ground level. Begley. Sinclair. Well done, Jess Sinclair. Lindsay Smith, very unselfish. Could have kicked the goal himself. Instead, Shannon Grant will dribble it through. Three goals, 5 for Shannon Grant. 39 possessions. We'll see if we can get him over the 40.
He's got time.
Yeah, he has.
Still got 3¼ minutes left.
Haven't heard much from Plugger for a while, KB, have we?
He's on his way down. Hopefully he'll have a very important interview at the end of the game. Shannon Grant on screen. Well, it's been a great return to form. In fact, Corey McKernan also has returned to a bit of form today. He'd be a lot happier. He's booted 4 goals, 3, including a poster, and 3 of those goals came in the second term. And throw in Shannon Grant. Both those players have been playing in the VFL over the last couple of weeks. Looks like their confidence for that run has helped them. Stevens always just burrows in. Been taken by Davis. And the Saints were plotting there at 3/4 time, but not much has really happened for them in this last term. Begley. To centre half forward, Hamill has to go hard. He's got it. He's kicked 2 goals. One in the first quarter, one in this last term. He's within kicking distance. Stewie Lowe's back on the goal line. So Hamill just having a bit of a chat there as we see Blake was on a lead. But you think that Aaron Hamill would get the distance. From just outside of 50, leans back, unloads, gives it both barrels, leaves nothing behind, and kicks a goal. 3 goals to Aaron Hamill.
McLaren coming off for Byron Pickett. So Hamill's day in his return to Canberra. 17 possessions, 3 marks and 3 goals, but hasn't had much of an impact on the game. A couple of those goals have come in the last quarter. Down to the last 2 minutes. What has been a very disappointing afternoon for Nathan Burke in game number 300. Spider Everett, good work, Milne. Into attack again. Oh, Archer was just stronger at the ball than Blake. Hamill crashing through. Created an opportunity for Lenny Hayes. Oh, well done, Lenny. Interesting handball. Begley, Milne, back onto the cricket pitch area. Pushing it out wide. Chad Davis unloads it. Can Stewie Lowe get his 8th goal? No. Good mark in front. Colbert.
He's taken 7 marks today, Anthony. He's had it 18 times and he's kicked a goal. So some good signs there for Lee Colbert as well.
Yeah, I think Dennis Pagan to be pretty happy overall with his team's performance this afternoon. Not just the score on the board, but the individual improvements made. Adam Simpson, been quieter than usual. Cochrane, one of those players to have shown a bit. 18 possessions. McKernan, we've talked a lot about him. Back to Cochrane. If it sits, he's got a good chance to kick a goal. And he's just missed. Is that a mark? No, it's a behind. So down to the last minute, and the Kangaroos 18-23, 132, 18-24 in fact, 132. The Saints 13-10, 88. So if they had been a bit more accurate, it could have been a lot worse.
Kangaroos by 44 points. Their fans will go away happy today. This venture up to Canberra has been a successful one. McKernan has booted 4 goals today. And we've got a boundary throw-in, so another disappointing day for St Kilda. So much promise coming out of the game last week against the Hawks. But they've been outrun today by the Kangaroos and outmuscled. Just about in all departments today, the Kangaroos have just really been on top. And Simpson just happy to just take that ball over the line as the time clock ticks down to the end of the game, just 30 seconds left.
Shannon Grant still on 39 possessions, KB.
Well, we'll see if we can get anyone more in this contest, because 40 possessions in a game is a darn good effort. Pickett to Simpson, and the run comes from Harvey. On the burst, runs inside 50. Brent Harvey, magnificent play. Two goals to Harvey. And you've only got to look at the number of times he's won the ball along with King and also Shannon Grant to just see just how much they have dominated the midfield. 32 possessions to Brent Harvey. David King's had it 28 times and Shannon Grant 39 times. Now, that is just too many times for an opposition side to control. They have just been magnificent.
19-24, 138 the Kangaroos. 13-10, 88. Umpire turning and looking. There's Nathan Burke. The last 16 seconds coming up. Must be a blood rule. Down in front of us there. Begley going off. And Knowles coming on. So now we're ready for the last stanza. Shannon Grant playing in the half-forward line, so it's going to be tough for him to get his 40th possession, particularly now that Milne has got the run of it. So the Saints, a last chance for Stuart Lowe, yes! Inside the last 10 seconds, so Stuart Lowe will go back and have the final shot. Disappointing result for his great mate, Nathan Burke. But Stuart Lowe's kicked 7 goals, 1 today, 6 marks, 11 possessions. See if he can finish it off with his 8th goal of the day. Started away to the right and it stayed there. So an inglorious finish for a pretty ordinary day for the Saints. Final score, the Kangaroos 19-24, 138 to 13-11, 89. Let's go down to Plugger.
Yeah, hello, I've got Nathan Burke here, and well, I guess a little bit of a disappointing end of the day, mate. It could have been such a memorable day. Only the 39th player in league history to play 300. How's it feel?
Yeah, well, it felt a lot better until the last probably hour or so, but the Kangaroos, they were just too good for us today. Would have been nice to have a win, but I suppose 10, 20 years' time, the fact that I've probably played 300, I'll probably forget this loss, hopefully.
And can you tell me when 300 really become a real number? You get to 200 and, you know, it takes a great effort to get to 200, but the 300 is just something special, isn't it?
It is, yeah. You know, as I said, when I finish, I'll probably be a little bit more excited about it. But you know, once you just keep going and trade 1 week at a time, and hopefully you get there. And I didn't have you fall on me too many times, so I managed to make it.
Yeah, look, good on you, mate. I'll let you go and enjoy it with your teammates. You've been an icon to the game. A credit to yourself, a credit to your footy club, and I'm just proud I know you, mate. Great
Thanks,
effort.
thanks,
Well
mate.
done.
Thanks, Tony, and once again, thanks to Nathan Burke. Let's get to Mark Beretta, who is chasing the Kangaroos out there on the ground. Mark.
Well, Spider-Bert